artists and welcome back to Art at Heart. If you're new here, this is a crafting and DIY channel. Today we're going to be painting this cute little hat that I'm modeling for you. And I'm going to show you how to paint this and specialize a dollar store hat and make it something cool and unique. So let's go ahead and get started. So first I grab my little knitted hat that I got from the dollar store, and I found my inspiration, which this happened to be pink butterflies. I'm going to use an assortment of fabric paint. You probably could use acrylic too, but I just wanted to be on the safe side and use something that I knew would work on fabric. I'm going to start by just kind of making a general outline of the butterfly because I didn't want to go into great detail just in case I messed up. So for the top wing, it's kind of like a funky triangle pizza shape, and then the bottom one is more rounded. Whoops, had a little mess up there. Luckily, I am just going to go over with black and other paint. Now I'm kind of adding the little outline part of the butterfly, as well as the little body. You really have to coat this paint on. It does not really like to go on fabric. My experience with painting on fabric in the past, it's really difficult and you have to do layer upon layer. So it kind of got to the point where I was just globbing on the paint. And right now I'm just doing the outline and it looks like I'm barely doing anything, barely scratching the surface. I've had quite a few little whoops. I kind of put the body in the not correct spot. That sounded really awkward. I put the body in an incorrect spot, and so I'm trying to fix the one wing because it was looking funky and I have a whole bunch of black mess going on, but don't worry, we're gonna fix it. And this is where I'm just heavily laying on that paint, making that outer rim where we're gonna later put some little dots and spots of the butterfly. And of course you want to try and mimic this as best on the other side of the wing so they're matching, or siblings, they don't have to be twins. By the way, I forgot to mention that you probably want to use a medium-sized brush for this project because a smaller, daintier brush would not be able to apply enough paint to even really get a visible line. I am now thickening the outlines. I wasn't going to make them super thick at the beginning just because I wanted to make sure I was happy with how it was looking. And now that I am, I'm going in and adding some details, adding some curvatures to the wing for the spots later on. Those curvatures are essentially little triangles that I am going to put on the top two wings to give some more space for the little dots, as well as to add some realism and depth to the butterfly. I am also adding a larger triangle at the top of the two wings to give us more space for the butterfly's spots. And of course you do that on the other side of the wing as well. Since I had the butterfly's body placement slightly incorrect, I'm going in and fixing that now and giving the butterfly a little tail and the little antennas. Now we're going to add a little pop of color, a little bit of fabulous, a little bit of pink. I opted to choose a bigger brush for this part because we're going to be filling in a lot of color, and like I said, you really have to glob on that paint for it to stick to the fabric. I'm starting with a base color of hot pink, but I'm going to also go in there and add some highlights with a lovely white. For the highlights, I started at the base nearest to the body and extended out towards the wings or the brim of the hat. So this is the ideal time to cover up all of those little mistakes you made with the black, which is what I'm currently doing. I found that the white fabric paint actually covered up the mistakes much better than just the hot pink. So ultimately, I ended up taking the white and going over most of those mistakes and then covering that with the hot pink. Now it's time to add the small little butterfly. Essentially, we're going to do the same exact shape as we did for the large butterfly, but minimize it. I went ahead and switched back to my finer brush so I could get those smaller details. Oh my word, what is going on with that top wing? It is looking ratchet. Oh, I make the bottom wing a little bit bigger to make that look just a little better. Good thinking, Brianna. Go you. I'm now adding some little spiky things onto the bottom of the butterfly's wings to kind of give it some more oomph. It is now time to add the itty bitty little butterfly, which once again, it's the same as both of the larger butterflies, same process, same dealio, so I'm not going to describe it all again. Here's the lovely video. Once you are done with both of those outlines, go ahead and fill it in with the hot pink and the white, just like the big butterfly. Now I am going in with Sharpie to draw all of the little veins of the butterfly. I was going to go in with paint, but I just figured this was going to be a lot easier, and it'll also hold up in the wash. You don't have to be super precise about the veins. Like, I looked at my image, but I kind of just made it up as I went. It's kind of like the veins on a leaf. And same dealio as before, do the same thing you did on the big butterfly for the two small ones. You know those spots I kept talking about? Guess what? It's time to add those. So I'm back to my fine paintbrush with white fabric paint, and I'm just dotting it on some of the black areas. I focused mainly on the big portions of the top and the bottom wing. While I was working on this project, I noticed that I had lots of little black spots that kind of seeped over into spots they weren't supposed to be on the background. So I decided to do something pretty with it. So I am taking gray, which I mixed with the white and black fabric paint, and I'm making a trail of quote-unquote sparkles. It's not actually sparkles, but like a trail that the butterflies are leaving using black, gray, and white. And you want to start with clusters close to the butterflies and then have them disperse as you go. Lastly, I added some white detailing onto the body of the butterflies. And this is what the finished product looks like. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me some thumbs up, especially because I'm outside filming this, freezing my butt off. And if you want to see more like this, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to click on that bell notification icon. Until next time, this is Brianna with a hair in her mouth, signing off.